To weigh in, representing Arizona's 8th Congressional District, Congresswoman Debbie Lesko. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining me. So, Congresswoman, as I said, a lot of us are very supportive of this ban on Russian oil. Many of us had been warning and predicting something like this would happen many years ago, including President Trump. With that being said, listening to Biden's speech this morning didn't really reassure the American people that we're going to be fine. I mean, he just put it out there. We're going to feel some pain. And then he's trying to shift blame, saying that this is all Putin's fault. I mean, keep in mind, gas prices were already going that direction.
Well, you're absolutely right. It's absolutely atrocious that President Biden has stopped oil and gas production in the United States, new oil and gas production, and has put out the word to financiers of oil and gas production that there's a war against oil and gas in the U.S. And at the same time, President Biden is calling on dictators from Venezuela and Iran to produce more oil and gas. It's absolutely ludicrous. And when you talk about the solution is just go buy an electric vehicle, that's also ludicrous. Okay, that's not going to help the problem in the short term. Most of all, most of these people can't afford a $60,000 electric vehicle car right now. And besides, if everybody changed from a standard vehicle to electric vehicle, it's going to increase the amount of energy that's needed to produce the electricity by 30%. Well, where is that going to come from? Not from American oil and gas, because Biden keeps shutting it down. Also, electric vehicles need a lot more minerals. They need lithium. They need nickel. They need cobalt. And copper. Yet he's shutting down the permits for mines. I was just in Arizona. There's a copper mine, Resolution Copper Mine. It's a huge copper mine. It could be used right now. Under the Trump administration, he gave the green light for the mine. Now, guess what? President Biden has put it on hold. And so then he's going to turn to China. He's going to turn to Venezuela. He's going to turn to adversarial countries for our minerals. This is crazy. I feel like I'm in an alternate reality or something with the president that hates America.
You hit on so many important points, and we'll try to dissect some of them. You talked about the power that it takes for electric vehicles. And there's a huge issue here that a lot of people have been bringing up on social media. They said, do you remember during the pandemic when California's Governor Gavin Newsom had threatened to turn off the power on party goers during COVID-19? There was one business owner that I had on this show. He was the owner of the Tin Horn Flats Saloon in California. They turned his power off, by the way. So people are saying, I don't really want to trust the government when it comes to my power on my car, because we've seen them abuse their power before.
Well, exactly. And if I remember right, in California, they told people to stop charging their electric vehicles. I mean, how ridiculous is that? So now the Biden administration wants the answer is to get more electric vehicles, right? Buy an electric vehicle. Well, they forgot that electricity comes from somewhere. And most of the electricity comes from natural gas production. Yet he wants to stop oil and gas production in the United States and instead rely on Venezuela and Iran. And to get the production from Iran, he has to talk to Russia, who is now, creating homicide against Ukrainians. This is just absolute insanity. That's all I can say. It's absolute insanity. And I hope the American people are watching and vote in Republicans in November. And then hopefully if the House and the Senate turn to Republican majority, maybe we can have some leverage against President Biden to come back to some sanity.
Yeah, my head is exploding over the stupidity. I mean, we're really asking Venezuela. I mean, this is the Team Biden plan right now, is to tap Venezuela. Now, the reason we don't do it here at home, or they're trying to reduce oil here in the U.S., is because of the environment. Yet Venezuela, I mean, that's dirty oil. If they cared about the environment, they wouldn't want to do it there. They would want to do it in the United States.
That's exactly right. I mean, none of this makes any sense. And right now, I'm in an Energy and Commerce Committee hearing right now, and we're talking about electric vehicles. Now, Arizona is a leader in electric vehicle manufacturing. But let's face it, if you're going to put more electrical vehicles on the electric grid, you're going to need more electricity, right? And my Democratic colleagues seem to kind of have forgotten that. And so we need to increase oil and gas production here in the United States. We need to expedite permits for new oil and gas production in the United States. We need to expedite permits for more mining of critical minerals that are needed in the electric vehicles and in the batteries here in the United States instead of relying on China, Iran, and Venezuela. You know, at the State of the Union the other night, President Biden did a lot of rhetoric where he said, let's buy in America. Well, I agree with them. Let's buy in America. Let's buy American oil and gas. Let's produce American oil and gas, and let's produce American mining of minerals that are needed for everything that we produce, including electric vehicles. Let's open up our spigots instead of relying on dictators.
And just to be clear, not against an electric vehicle, maybe one day I'll have one, but that's not the conversation to be had right now. And even the president mentioned that in his speech this morning. And these are just two separate issues. Okay, so we're banning Russian oil, but we need to focus on how we're going to make up for that loss. And this conversation of electric vehicles is so far away. It's just so out of touch and so outrageous. It actually makes my blood boil.
Well, think about okay, so that's what we're talking about in Energy and Commerce today, and the Democrats control the agenda. The other committee hearing we're having tomorrow in Energy and Commerce is about the time zone, about daylight savings time. I mean, instead of talking about Ukraine, Russia, China, threatening Taiwan, we're going to talk about daylight savings time. That's their priority here in the U.S. Congress, the Democrats' priority. It's unbelievable.
It's sickening. It truly is. Well, Congresswoman, we appreciate you joining us on the show. Thank you so much.